Today on this 2012 Ford Explorer, we're going to install part number C56093. Alright, we'll go ahead and show you how our wiring harness works before we install it. We usually keep it hidden underneath the mat. And then when we need to use it, we can go ahead and pull it out. We'll take the wire and pull it across the threshold. Then we can go ahead and close the hatch on it. Make sure you stay away from the latch so you don't get it pinched in there and cause any damage. And then we can go ahead and bring it down to our trailer hitch and it's ready for your trailer. Now we'll go ahead and show you how to install the wire harness. First off, we'll go ahead and open up the back hatch and remove the rear threshold. There's a small panel just in front of our threshold that we need to remove and just unclips. We'll also remove the spare tire cover. There's a small cover for the hatch that we need to remove as well. It's also a good idea to loosen up the weather seal to a little bit easier access to the connection points underneath the threshold. Now it's a good idea to use a trim panel tool to go ahead and pop the rivets loose. Plastic pry bar will work just as well. You can also get by with a flat screwdriver. However, you may risk stressing out the plastic with a flat screwdriver. Now we need to remove the panels on the side of the vehicle. Or starting on the driver's side, we'll go ahead and remove the fasteners for our tie-down points on the top and on the sides. We can go ahead and pop loose the panel. And we'll look inside for a connection point. Now our connection point will look just like the connectors with our wire harness. There's a small tab you have to push to go ahead and pull it apart. It'd be kind of hard to reach in there and see, but if you can pull the tab down, you can pull the wires apart. We'll take our T connector with the yellow side, and we'll go ahead and hook it in between the two halves of the wire that we just disconnected. And we'll also use something to space out the panel. In this case, a wooden block works just fine. Next, we'll go ahead and work with our white wire at the ring terminal. That'll be our ground. We'll attach to sheet metal underneath the threshold. That way it'll be all hidden. We'll go ahead and get our T connector ready with the green wire and route it towards the passenger side. And then we'll go ahead and loosen up our panel there as well. Basically, we'll repeat the same process of removing the fasteners to loosen up the panel. Now our connection point is kind of hidden on this side, so you have to kind of look around the corner or maybe feel for it. You'll probably have to pop it out and then pull apart the connections. Second T connector will go in just like before. Next, we'll go ahead and work for a black wire coming from the module. This needs to be connected up to the longer length of wire that comes with the kit and eventually to our 12-volt power supply. We'll connect the two together using the provided butt connector. We'll also add some extra security to our connection point by using some electrical tape. We'll go ahead and pull up the carpeting in the tire well and we'll look for a grommet. Sometimes it's covered in some insulation material, but we'll go ahead and drill it out using a bit that's the same size as our wire. Then we'll go ahead and poke our black wire through and out the bottom. At this point, we'll go ahead and take a moment to secure our module. We'll go ahead and clean it off and use the adhesive pad that comes with the kit and attach it to the module. And then we'll attach it to the inside edge of the panel to keep it safe and out of the way. Okay, at this point we can go ahead and reinstall our panel along with the fasteners. And then we'll go ahead and look underneath the vehicle. Our wire comes out just above the exhaust, so we'll go ahead and pull it towards the front. When we did that, we routed our wire over the rear subframe assembly along the parking brake cable and following some lines going up towards the front of the vehicle. and we zip tie the wires along the way wherever possible. And as we do this, we want to make sure we don't attach to anything moving like suspension components or anything hot like the exhaust. Once we get up to the firmer vehicle, we'll go ahead and use a pull wire to pull a black wire up towards a 12-volt power supply. In this case, we use an old piece of airline tubing. We route it down from the top to the bottom. This also could be any piece of wire that can hold its shape, and you can route it down there and control its descent. Once we take up all our slack out of there, we'll go ahead and zip tie it off to the side and then cut it to length. Once we have our wire cut to length, we'll go ahead and add our fuse holder. On one side, we'll add a butt connector to connect to the black wire. And the other side will get a ring terminal to connect up to our 12-volt power supply. We'll also use some electrical tape here to help secure our connections. Now underneath the cover on our battery is a post that we can use. We'll go ahead and remove the nut. And then we'll go ahead and put our ring terminal over the stud and then put the nut back into place. After we have it tightened down, we can go ahead and replace the cap. And then we'll install the fuse into the fuse holder. We'll eventually zip tie it and secure it and keep it out of the way. And then we can go ahead and check for the operation. It's always a good idea to test the wiring with a light tester first before trying on a trailer. We'll take our ground and connect it to our white wire, and then we'll test the brown wire for a running light circuit. Our yellow wire will be our left turn signal, and our green wire will be our right turn signal. And then our brake signal will be a constant signal on the yellow and green wires. And with everything working, that'll finish it for our install for part number C56093 from CURT on our 2012 Ford Explorer.